Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. 4 graded stakes races on tap at Saratoga on Saturday. We're going to start with race number 7, the Grade 3 Amsterdam Stakes. All of our stakes previews presented by DRF Bets, and members can play the Weekend Warrior Bonus Series. Here's how you do it. You make a $25 win bet on race 1 at Saratoga or Del Mar on any Saturday or Sunday. Earn a $10 bonus, win or lose. Bonuses will be awarded on Pacific Classic and or Travers Day. That's 18 races in all for a potential grand total of $180. And bets must be made on the new bets.drf.com site. Let's take a look at the field of 3-year-old sprinters. They're prepping for the signature 3-year-old sprint race for the entire year. That's the Grade 1. 8 Challenge Jerkins a little bit later this meet. Mike, the number 3 Engage, is 8-5 on the morning line. He finished ahead of 3 of these common foes in the Grade 2 Woody Stevens on the Belmont Stakes undercard. But boy, he had an electric pace to rally into, and he still got mowed down late by a Longshot.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I sort of get looking at him as, maybe just the horse to beat in here, if only because, first of all, I think the Woody Stevens is actually a very good race. Obviously, there was a wicked pace in that race, and while Engage was off of the pace, he was a lot closer to it than the winner was. I thought he ran fine in there. He got by the leaders late, couldn't hold off the one-run closer at the end. Maybe he gets a similar trip in this spot. I think there were a lot of different ways to just look at this horse and feel like, yeah, he's the horse to beat and the one you're supposed to take. I'm just not that big a fan of his, Dan, and I didn't really want to bet him in this race as the favorite. I'm not so sure that he's that much better than a couple other horses in here. I get him. I'm not betting him.
I use him in multiple race wagers, especially for the fact that he's 2 for 2 on wet going, and there's a possibility of rain on Saturday. And as you mentioned, the pace might be electric again. Timeform US, interestingly enough, does not have a red bar for its pace projector, but it seems that whenever any sort of combination of Promises Fulfilled, Strike Power, or World of Trouble are in the race, the same race, there is a good chance of a fast pace. I mean, Promises Fulfilled and World of Trouble basically dueled each other into defeat in the Woody Stevens.
They really did. I mean, listen, they're both fast horses. They're both talented horses. And to me, they both ran excellent races in the Woody Stevens. I mean, that pace was wicked in there, and they just went at it basically from the get-go. They both made it down to about mid-stretch, but you could tell they weren't going to last in there. They were on fumes at the end. I thought they both ran great, and maybe we're just in for more of the same. I have a feeling that maybe we are. I still think it's really hard to separate them, Dan. I did take one over the other, but I'm using them both. I just think they're, in a lot of ways, I think they might be the 2 best horses in the race.
Promises Fulfilled, the inside speed. Luis Saez has to go, and despite being very late to change leads, was able to hold off World of Trouble for 3rd in the Woody Stevens. Strike Power and Promises Fulfilled dueled each other into the ground in the Florida Derby. Maybe they let Promises Fulfilled go this time, and he's able to set the pace all the way around the track. Let's quickly talk about Strike Power, a horse that didn't get close to the pace in the Woody Stevens. Do you think that was intentional, and the fact that it didn't work out makes Mark Henning and John Velasquez more aggressive this time?
It'll be interesting to see what they do. When I went through that race after it was over, I didn't think that they were necessarily trying to take off it. I mean, they were chasing it 3 wide, and he just couldn't get up there to contest with those 2 horses who were just going too fast. Maybe they'll just try and go on a dead scent here and get involved early. I'm sort of in a position with him, Dan, where either way, whatever they do with him, go or try and sit, I'm just not sure that I'm convinced he's as good as those 2 horses. We'll see. He's got a couple of big races on his card. I'm just not convinced by him right now.
Another horse that has the potential to press the pace is the number 4, Old Time Revival. Still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life, but a horse that almost pulled off a monumental upset in the Grade 3 Gotham going a 1-turn mile, a distance too far for him earlier this year. Last time out, nailed going 7 furlongs after setting a fast pace at Laurel. He's fast. I'm just not sure he's as fast as Promises Fulfilled, Strike Power, World of Trouble, and I'm not sure he's as good.
Yeah, it just feels like for all the reasons you just mentioned, it just might be a really tough spot for him. I think sprinting is what he wants to do. He's a fast horse. On his best day, he can run a big race. It just feels like he's in a really tough position here.
We usually like cutbacks in these middle distance sprints, and the number 7 Sutash is turning back a 1/4 mile after finishing 5th in the Easy Goer Stakes. Also on the Belmont undercard, he finished ahead of a horse that came back to run 2nd with a 90 Beyer speed figure against older non-winners of 2 other than types. Sutash has already beaten World of Trouble. I think the plan just here is take back, hope for a barbecue, and come with 1 run.
That's what they got to do here. I took a long look at this horse because I do think he's pretty talented, and I think he fits this race really well. The question is, do you think he's good enough to run these horses down? I go back to his race in the Easy Goer last time and just feel like, I don't know. He ran fine in there, but I didn't think that was a very good field. He got a good trip in that race and had a shot at it. Was not nearly good enough. If you want to say he's the distance, maybe that's fine, but he's won going longer before. I just think he ran into better horses, and I think he's running into even better horses on Saturday.
We'll take a shot against Engage in the Amsterdam as we take a look at our top selections. You like World of Trouble. I have to admit, I was surprised when he was favored in the Tampa Bay Derby over Flame Away and Vino Rosso. I was surprised he was favored over Engage in the Woody Stevens. I don't think he'll be favored here, and drawing outside of the 3 speeds. Maybe he can sit just off of them and get the jump if Strike Power and the 2 Promises Fulfilled battle early.
I agree with all those things. I was surprised he was favored last time. Not that he wasn't a big contender in the race, but I was surprised he was 2-1 in that race. And we'll see. Maybe he's a little bit of a better price this time. Listen, he was outside of those horses last time too for post 10. He's outside again. I think this race is going to be a little different than the Woody Stevens. So I still think they're going to go fast. I don't think they're going to go great guns right from the start here. I think he's going to be able to take up a tracking spot on the outside. And I'm just hoping he's good enough. To be honest with you, Dan, I don't love anybody in here. I'm mostly Promises Fulfilled, World of Trouble. Those are my 2 main horses in here. I'm going to use Engage, but I'm really trying to beat him as the favorite.
Let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree with the number 1 Barry Lee, 10-1 for Horatio de Paz. This is a horse that showed a little bit of ability as a 2-year-old. He was a stakes winner over Synthetic. He was stakes placed on dirt. He's only raced twice this year, and both times he was the only 3-year-old in a field of older horses at Churchill Downs. Once off a long layoff, I could forgive that effort, but I thought he ran okay last time out where he had to go fast early. He didn't break well. He was inside of 3 other pace rivals, and he was plugging along in the stretch. The winner of that race, Majestic Affairs, an old class horse that came back to win a stake at Ellis Park with a 96 buyer. He's won 3 out of his last 4 races. Barry Lee, I think, is comfortable from off the pace. He is comfortable when saving ground in behind horses, and I think that's the trip he's going to get. He obviously has to improve, but he's paired up Buyer Tops in his first 2 starts this year, and I think that portends for at least somewhat of a move forward.
Yeah, no, I get him as an alternative in this race. I'm not sure if I think he's good enough, but I get him as an alternative because I think you're right. I think he will sit that sort of inside trip behind the lead early in here, then come to the outside with it running the stretch. That's what he did when he won that Synthetic Stakes race last year. That was a pretty impressive move he made off the turn in there. So if he can do that in here, this is a race he can win. I don't love his 2 races off the layup. I hear what you're saying, Buyer Tops against older horses. I didn't think he ran great either time, but maybe he takes a step forward here.
Mike's going to go with the 6, World of Trouble. I'll go 1-3-2-6 in the Grade 3 Amsterdam, one of 4 graded stakes races at Saratoga on Saturday. Want to remind DRF Bets members again, you can play this Weekend Warrior bonus series. Bet $25 on 1 horse to win in race 1 at Saratoga and Del Mar on Saturday and Sunday. Win or lose, you get a $10 bonus. Approximate post time for the Grade 3 Amsterdam. Race number 7 at the Spa on Saturday, 4:25 Eastern. Good luck.